Hey, Cleaning Nation, cleaning company owners, glad to have you here. Today we do our live Q&A. You can join our Facebook group and ask questions live, or you can email support@growmycleaningcompany.com and Lindsay will answer them for you. That said, or Lindsay will get them on the air. Lindsay, what's going on? Who's asking? How can I help?
Yeah, so today I asked Cleaning Nation, what's your number one struggle when it comes to hiring or keeping your dream team?
Love it.
Yeah, so we had Jenny in Facebook comment on that post. She said, how to get all of our team members on the same track and stay consistent. They are all trained in the same way by the same person. We have checklists, SOPs, routines, and still someone misses or forgets to do something.
That's a great question, Jenny. So most of the time people think the problem is training, and it's almost always the person. So Lindsay, I would say, the lovely Lindsay who is joining me here, I would say has a much more complex job than cleaning. And when she came in, I don't know, you were probably 20% ready to go. Like, because it's a pretty specific job. It's not like anyone would have the skill. It's not like we expect her to be ready to roll. And I gave her gave whatever will give, I don't know, the past, present, and future tenses, very little training because she's the right person, right? So she asks when she needs help. The questions she has are good. She figures it out when she can. She's the right person. So the training is pretty nominal. And if and when we go, she's set up the next person. Like, or when she takes a vacation, like she's got the next person going. So if I had the wrong person, I could train and train and train and train and train, and it'd still be feeling like I was trying to drag Lindsay somewhere. But when you've got the right person, it's pretty cool to just be like, hey, I hired a person that's A, got the skill set, and B, and when I say skill set, I mean basic skills. Like I said, she didn't have the ability to do the job, but she had the ability to learn how to do the job, and she was a core values match. So with cleaners, as long as you've got a physically capable human being, everybody's got the ability to do the job. It's 100% core values, right? It's just, are they on track? So I use myself as an example because I'm, as my wife could verify, not a great cleaner, right? No one's going to look at me and be like, I should hire that guy to be a cleaner. Like, just not. But for me, our core values are have fun, make money, be real, and help out. So if I had a cleaning company, and by the way, I've had these same core values for many companies. So it's not like, well, that works for you and your coaching company. No. The last, car dealership, construction company, manufacturing, I've had several companies with the same core values. So even if I had someone who wasn't a great cleaner, if I had a cleaning company, my core values were and are have fun, make money, be real, and help out. If that person did a bad job, be like, hey, is it fun for the client to, pay us and come home and be unhappy? No. Is it fun for your partner to try and do a good job when you're not? No. Is this conversation we're having particularly fun? No. What about making money? Do you think you'll make more money doing a good job or doing a bad job? Probably a good job. What about the company? Do you think it probably good job? What about be real? When you came here, I told you if you did a good job, we'd pay you. Have we ever not paid you? Oh, okay. So we've been real on that. Have you done a good job every time? Not so much. So, and the cool thing is, it's not like we're just badgering them. Lindsay and I don't have these conversations because she's came batteries included. That's who she was before I got here. So I don't have to be like, hey, Lindsay, have more fun. Like, she's just puts up with my nonsense and brings her own nonsense without any memos. Lindsay, note to Lindsay, more fun. Note to Lindsay, be real. Like, it's the same lady, like I've known her for years now, and we've spent time in person, we've spent time virtually. She and my wife do whatever the heck they do that I'm not, but it's the same goddamn Lindsay. So I want to encourage you, Jenny, more often than not, if you've got someone consistently doing the wrong, they're just not doing a good job, it's almost never training. It's almost always values and or not feeling like they're part of a team or giving a crap, right? And again, that would lead back to values. So if you've got the right person, you don't really need a ton of training. They're going to do a good job just because they're like, oh, I said I'd do a good job. I can't leave knowing this is kind of halfway done. And if you are the wrong person, you can train all you want. And we want, like, if I just have the right SOPs and I've got a owner's or a employee manual and they sign it that they've read it, and it's like, yeah, I know, but it doesn't matter. So I want to encourage you: checklist, standards, SOPs, routines, all that sort of stuff. The good people, the right people won't need them, and the wrong people ain't going to use them. So Culture, culture, culture is the very long answer to a pretty short question.
Got it. All right, Mike. Allison asked, she had a question about handling cleaner requests for higher pay. What are some incentive ideas for some sort of bonuses for cleaners?
Yeah, it's a great question. I saw Allison today, and we've got a full training on this in our program, so I'm not going to try and bore everyone with that. But I guess there's two things I would say. First, my least favorite incentives, or I shouldn't say least favorite, when it comes to financial, you've got to pay people right and fair, right? If you say you care about them and you want to see them win, but then you try and take advantage of them with pay, that's hard for them to believe, right? So, and you can, by the way, if your culture is good enough, you can get people to work for way too little money. Not how I'd recommend you doing it, but there you go. My philosophy has always been, if you try and pay the most, and in the businesses I've had, I know there are businesses where it's like you want to pay the most and that's it, because the talent is just so rare and so specific. You just gotta pay. If we're not in that business, which for cleaners we're not, it's very common. I like to pay a little above average, right? So on a 1 to 10, if 5 is the average everyone else makes there, I want to pay a 7, not a 9, certainly not a 4, not even a 5, but a 6, probably closer to a 7. So everyone feels like I'm getting paid fair, maybe a little more than fair. If my only thing was money, I could probably go make more money tomorrow, but that's not my only thing. So on the money thing, you got to pay fair. That said, you want people who are down with your cause, right? Like Lindsay, again, I always use Lindsay because she's here. The way she takes care of our clients, I couldn't micromanage it. Like it's just, my coaching would be, Lindsay, like be cool and give a crap about the people and be nice and treat them like you would want to be treated if you were in their position. That's kind of it, right? So I have found, well, I'll do a quick carve out. When it comes to sales or kind of performance-based stuff, then I would pay exclusively on performance. But I'm still, even with good salespeople, they can make good money anywhere. They still want to be down with the cause. They really want to give a crap about who they're selling. They want to know they're selling a product that's going to work. So even when it comes to sales, which is the most kind of money motivated of the types of employees you're generally going to have, they still want the culture and the experience. So the cool thing is, with higher level people, the pay is table stakes. Like obviously you're going to pay up. They can work anywhere they want, and you're going to need to offer, like, I want to be a part of this team. I want to be a part of this vision. One of my favorite things about Elon Musk is if you look at all of his companies, they're all trying to save the world, right? Like
I'm nodding. Yeah.
Yeah. Lindsay did the wait a second. Saw her face.
I never thought of that. Yeah.
SpaceX is where he wants to be multiplanetary. He believes the human race will be extinct if we don't go somewhere. That's a pretty big. Why are we, Steve Jobs, when he was building everything amazing he did, like these are game-changing things. So those people work their best because like, this is what I want. They can't get that anywhere. So the vision, being a part of your vision, is going to be huge. And just really letting people know you appreciate what they do, I have found, if it's sincere, goes further than, you can, on this podcast, I praised Lindsay like 91 times. We've been broadcasting for 4 minutes, and obviously I'm doing it to help you guys see stuff, but I also want Lindsay to know she's doing awesome. And I want her to know in front of the world and everybody, and all 8 of our listeners. So, so I don't like, again, and we've got a whole training on it for clients, but the big concept behind it is pay 10% better than the average. I kind of like bonuses and little treats and fun excitement, and it could be presents, it could be money, but perfect. All right, last time I'm going to make Lindsay look good on this podcast. One of the things we do for our clients is like on birthdays or anniversaries, or just if something goes bad, Lindsay's the best. It's always the worst when Lindsay's birthday comes around, because I'm like, God dang it, I got no Lindsay to get for Lindsay. I got to figure something out on my own. It's always, I got to scheme with my wife as to what's going to happen. All that to say, people are really appreciative. Like, thank you. Like their birthday, we'll send them a cake or just something fun. And they're like, oh my gosh, that made my day. We could have sent them $100 bill. They probably would have been appreciated. I don't know what the cake's probably $100, but whatever the cash value of the cake is to get it there, they just seem so tickled by the cake. Very different than money. And again, these are clients. So all that to say, Yes, I think a fun little here's a $20 gift certificate, or I don't just like cash, or obviously your pay plan is your pay plan. You can have some bonuses based on performance. Actually, getting paid a little better than average. But the big thing is the bigger motivators I found is they want to be a part of. They want to a baseline. Yet they have to be treated, feel like they're being treated fairly. Second, they want to know that what they're doing is important. Like they give a crap. So as opposed to, hey, you're just going to clean this thing. It's like, if I had a cleaning company, I'd be like, we are going to save, how many, say we had 100 clients, how many moms are going to get time with their kids that they wouldn't get, that are going to come home from a stressful job as opposed to snapping at their husband, can you give a hug and go, I feel so happy. We're giving time back. Those kids, anyone can do the high powered doctor, lawyer, whatever the mom's doing. One human being can mom those kids, and you're making that happen. That's a wildly different thing than, all right, guys, these toilets are full of feces and we got to fix this thing up. Go get them. So all that to say, pay fair. So they know you can't say you appreciate them and then tell your actions show differently with unfair pay. Make sure that they know that they're part of something bigger. And when they do a great job, tell them, like, let them know, like, people, you're doing great. I appreciate you. Our clients appreciate you. We're so lucky to have you. Another very long answer for a very short question.
I know. I love these rants today, Mike, and I love you just pumping up my ego today.
Yeah, and Lindsay's like, we're not even recording this. Lindsay just set this up for her own situation. Hey, Clean Nation, Mike Campion here. One of my least favorite things about these podcasts are we found that people love the show and they love the information, but when I talk to you guys in person, stuff doesn't get done. People love the podcast, but they don't take any action. If you'd like to actually implement this and get this done in your world, we have a whole team of people that do exactly that. If you go to growmycleaningcompany.com/talk, you can book a time with either myself personally or one of our teammates to at least help you come up with a plan to actually implement and change your life. So if you want to go from getting these good ideas in your head to getting in your life, just book a free call with myself or my team, growmycleaningcompany.com/talk. And we can go from this one-to-many format to one-to-one and really get you some results. Excited to talk.
All right. Next up, I think you kind of answered this, Mike, but I'm going to throw this scenario at you from James. He said, I have 2 cleaners that I love, but they are very slow. What do I do about this situation?
So there's a little nuance on this one. I would need a definition of very slow. So foundationally, for those that start cleaning themselves, which is probably 80% of owners I found start as cleaners and then hire people and become owners, they clean at a certain rate and a certain quality, and they expect everyone to do the same thing. And they don't count any extraneous circumstances. So what'll happen is I've been cleaning Lindsay's house for a year. I hire someone else to clean it. It takes me, we'll just pretend I don't have a partner. I'm just doing it by myself. It takes me 4 hours. I hire some other guy and it takes him 4.5 hours, maybe even 4:40. But the reality is, it only takes me 4 hours when everything goes great. Sometimes things don't go great. Sometimes the homeowner's there and we talk for 10 minutes. Sometimes they ask me to do something little that I wouldn't do an upcharge for, and I just take an extra 10 minutes. Sometimes I forget something at home and it's whatever. So I mentally kind of ignore those and only remember that the time it took me 4 hours, which maybe is half the time, but half the time it's not. And when you're training, some people are going to be, if you're doing a good job, faster or as good or better than you. Some people will be the same and some people will be a little slower. Also, as an owner, you care more, so you have less ups and downs typically. Even if I'm having a bad day, I got to get it done. Employees typically not that, right? They're having a bad day and it might show up just a little different. Also, there's going to be training, right? Sometimes people are training. So there's always just this dynamic thing. So the foundational thing is we assume on my best day, it took me 3 hours and 56 minutes. It probably, if I really took the time and averaged it, including all the things when I forgot this and the homeowner wasn't there and I had to deal with that and the dog got out and blah, 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 whatever nonsense happens, my average is actually 4 hours and 16 minutes. If I actually timed it in my mind, it's just under 4 hours, because one time I cleaned it in 3 hours and 57 minutes. And then someone takes 4 hours and 28 minutes and my actual average is 4:15, but in my mind it feels like they're way over, right? So in that regard, if it's in what I would consider a reasonable, and we also price based on everything being perfect, no one ever being trained, no one ever needing anything extra, everything was always perfect all the time, which is just never the case. So first and foremost, we got a price based on how long it really takes to clean, even including all the weird stuff. Second, we got to understand everyone's not going to be quite as quick as we are. And then finally, yeah. So once we get the pricing straight, and again, the reality is if say it was a two-person team doing it 4 hours and I was going to be one of those teams and I was with Lindsay and I the whole time I was like, come on, Lindsay, let's go and you can do it and blah, blah, blah. Sure, she'll get it done in 4 hours flat. But then I go away and the next time it's 4 hours 10 and next time it's 4 hours 20 and it kind of levels off there. We think I should whip Lindsay or encourage Lindsay or do whatever I need to make Lindsay go faster to keep her at 4 hours. The reality is it takes 420. Just kind of deal with reality. So that's that half. But I don't know when he just said takes very slow could mean a lot of things. If it takes two average cleaners 4 hours and it takes this person 4:15, I'm going to work with it. If it takes them 5.5, well, that's a whole different kettle of fish. Again, unless they're physically or mentally disabled, they can do it in the reasonable time, right? We're not doing brain surgery, right? If we're doing something super complex like brain, maybe one guy could do it in 12 hours, another guy 16. It's like, that's just how it goes. When it comes to cleaning or me, a lifetime, I could probably, the guy's going to die. Sorry, fella. Sorry, sir. Should have hired a better doctor. So I am just never going to accept, again, if they're physically, and again, maybe they're elderly or they're literally physically disabled, well, then they're just not the right fit for this job, right? Like we're not mad at them. They're just not a fit. Assuming they're of sound mind and body, they should be able to do it in time. And if they don't, it's not a skill thing. If I just taught Lindsay better how to use the squeegee and how to go top to bottom, left to right, if I just taught, girlfriend just doesn't care, right? She's got the speed she's going to work at, and that's what's in it for her. I don't think it's fun. I don't think it's going to make her money. It's not helping out. It's violating all my core values. So we're going to part friends. And I'm not mad at Lindsay. Well, what if she's great at everything? It's like, well, what if my Uber driver's great at everything, but hitting the brakes? Well, I need the whole thing, right? I can't, it's not going to work. So it's okay that they got to be able to do all the things that they got to be able to do. And again, 5-10 minutes over every now and again, they're great and everything else. We got no beef. If it's taking 30-50% longer, again, I'm going to think they could do it. They just don't want to, which is going to show me other problems. So rarely do I find someone that's super slow, but great in every other regard. Because what they're really saying is, I don't care. It's not that hard. I get it if it's like we're running marathons and Lindsay's faster than I. Well, she's just faster. I can only do what I can do. This ain't that. Lindsay's going, no, right, we're gonna foot race next live event, sister, and video it. And that. All right, email Lindsay if you want to see me foot race her at the next live event and post it on social. Old versus not old. I'm the old one. So anyway, all that to say, I've rarely found that there's truly they're perfect in every regard. It's just the time. The time is often indicative of other problems. But even if they're not, like, yeah, that's the thing. So I'm going to give some grace in that 5-10 minutes, 15 minutes tops. I get it. But if it's half hour, it's, to me, it just shows they don't care. They're not trying. Like if we tell them, hey, this is how long the job should take. Yeah. And most of the time they're not coming asking like, hey, how can I get better? How can I get faster? And if they did, they either won't listen, in which case that's an indicator, or they will listen, in which case they'll get faster. Either way, problem solved.
So follow-up question real quick for me. I know we're running short on time here, but in James's case, do you recommend that he keeps data of how long it's taking cleaners? He should know like how long it should take, but should he keep a record of how long it's taking them? So if it does take them too long, he can go back and be like, here's your average, or is that too in?
No, it's not. That's the beautiful thing about software is there's lots of time tracking software out there they can have on their phone, clock in and out. It's really pretty simple. So 5 or 10 years ago, I'd have been like, I don't know, it's a stretch. But yeah, when they can have an app on their phone that you pay for and is free, and everyone has a cell phone now, that is absolutely data you should have. And I always start with kind of top down. So monthly, you should be reviewing all of your financials. Your sales, are they up and down? Your cost of goods sold, up or down? Your overhead, your profit, all the key numbers. So if you're looking at your cost of goods sold and they're staying low, I'm not as in depth about it. Whoever's going to do my payroll, my accountant, I might have them just check once a month, or, hey, here's what we should be doing here. So I'm really going to kind of look by job. And if I see some problems, I might track it down to like, wait a second, Lindsay was on 7 different jobs this week that all took good times last week, but this week somehow they took longer. I'm going to no, it's not like something I'm going to be doing daily or spend a lot of my time on it. But if my cost of goods sold start creeping up, I'm definitely going to look into it. And then if my accountant who's processing payroll, I'm going to kind of teach them some general things to look for. And if they see a red flag, so yeah, you should track it, not because it's super important. I mean, globally, it's important in terms of what's your cost of goods sold, but how long did Lindsay take to clean Mr. Johnson's house is not as important. But because it's so easy to track, yeah, why not? I mean, the technology is great. You're going to process payroll anyway. Why not just have your accountant, instead of taking an hour to process payroll, take an hour 10 and just do a quick, like, yeah, everyone looks good, or this guy's running a little slow. And also, if Lindsay's been great all the time and she was a little trouble this week and no complaints and she's back on next week, I have no thoughts about that. If she's always slow by a little bit, I'm okay with that. If she's always slow by a lot, then we gotta square that circle.
All right, got it, Mike. Well, I think actually that is it for this week. Ranty.
I feel like there was probably more questions. Sorry for if there was questions number 4 and 5. That's on me. We probably had time and I just got yappy. All right, Cleaning Nation. Really love you joining us here. We have so much fun. I appreciate you supporting the show and the company. If you love the podcast, share it, like it, rate it, review it, all that good stuff. More importantly, if you're like, I like the podcast, but he always talks about this and that, never talks about what I need, or I've got questions, or I need some more personalized help, feel free to reach out to us. We have a team of people, coaches. All we do all day, every day is help owners of cleaning companies like you. Reach out, let us know how we can help. GrowMyCleaningCompany.com, Mike at GrowMyCleaningCompany.com, support at GrowMyCleaningCompany.com, Instagram, Facebook group, blah, blah, blah. Come hang out. We'll see you soon. Hey, Cleaning Nation, if you dug the content you just got, we don't do any ads and I don't sell anything on this podcast, but if you would just subscribe, rate, and review, it would be huge and I'd be so appreciative. Not only is it going to help me, but you'll help other owners of cleaning companies across the world work less, make more, and get profitable. So if you appreciate the value we give, again, subscribe, rate, and review. It would mean the world to me. I'd really appreciate it. And we sure appreciate your time and attention.